Okay, so we have the logo working. The next thing I actually want to do on my site is to put the logo here. Okay, so there's a couple different ways of going about doing this. So obviously we can manually do it, but it would be nice if we made something that you can just put in your own logo and it pops open over here. So let's do that. That sounds like a plan. All right. So that's actually a feature that's built inside of WordPress. So let's go ahead and just apply that first, and then we can, go about it. So like all features, we go to the functions, and then we've already added these two. So we're just going to add another one that'll allow us to do that. So I'm just going to, after this one's going to be a little bit more complicated than these. So we're just going to go add underscore theme underscore support. So you can see add theme support is going to have a couple different things we can do. And what we want to add is a couple of things. So it's actually, it needs the type, and then we have to give an array, which is basically the properties of what we want that to be. So because this is going to be semi-complicated, we're going to go ahead and just do this. And then inside of here, we're going to give it some information. So first thing, I want to add the custom logo. Okay. So like this one only needed one argument. Now it needs two arguments for this. So it needs the custom logo. That's the feature. And then I need to give it the type of, not the type of, I need to format it. So inside of that, what we're going to do is make an array again. So the array itself is going to hold all of the properties, okay? So things I want it to hold are going to be the height equals poink, and we're just going to go and just give it a generic name, okay? So we're just going to give it a variable name. So we're not going to determine, height, right? That's how I spell it. Logo height, okay? Now, you can actually put in like 200, and then that will be the site. It goes by pixels, just so you are aware. But in my case, I'm just going to leave it open. That way they can scale it to their heart's desire. Then we'll do width. Okay. And that will be something similar to the other one. So we'll do logo underscore width. Okay. And then we're going to do flex hyphen height, and we'll just say true, and then we're also going to do flex width, and that will also be true, like that. Basically, it's just going to put inside of a flex box. We haven't really gone over that much. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it does exist. It's just a kind of a default formatting thing. Okay, so theme support, blah, blah, blah. So you see if I click on this one, you can see it's highlighting here. This is actually the end of it. So I'm going to go on that one and just hit semicolon. I'm going to back that up, though, to here, because technically it starts there. All right. It's kind of a weird formatting, but it actually is a little bit easier to work. Now, it's kind of weird, but this is calling a method, but we actually have to add that on top of it. So we're just going to go to add underscore theme. Oops, that's not an underscore theme underscore support. And then we're going to go ahead and add what we named this, which was custom logo. Okay. So boink custom hyphen logo. And that way what it'll do is it will use our settings when it calls it. Okay, so this whole little block here is what's going to actually add that feature for us. You can go ahead and just save that. Okay, and if you go into the website and if I hit refresh, and you're not going to see anything different. And if I actually go into my administration, you're also not going to see anything. But if you click on custom here, or if you go in your area here, I'm just going to refresh to make sure it shows up. We'll leave page, that's fine. And if I go to my customize section here, it's just going to bring me to the front end, but either way you could click on it. I just want to show you can click on it here too. It's going to bring up the customize menu, which you probably remember. That's usually one of the first things you want to do when you open up a new theme. But now, if you go underneath site identity, you'll see that you can choose a site icon, which is the favicon that shows up. Where does it show up? Like up here. But now there's actually an option for a logo. So if I click on logo, I can choose something like this. Hit select. It's going to ask me to crop it. Let's go ahead and make it much smaller. Do something like this. Then I'm just going to do his head. Say like that. And I will crop the image. And then I'm just going to hit publish. And what you're going to see is it did nothing. And the reason why it did nothing is because I have now attached, like I registered it, but it was just like when we registered the menu. It's not actually being put into the page at the moment, so I'm just going to close that out. It's not actually being put in the page. We've now assigned something to it. So what we actually need to do is add this. We now have it built into it, but we need to actually add this into our header. So if you remember, we have this one section, this row here, that's the 10 columns. And then, well, it's all one row, but we have the one column here, and then we have the other one here for logo. We just need to add a little bit of code here, and then that will work. So we'll just remove logo, and I'm going to put in some PHP. We're going to go into PHP mode. Oops, not that. PHP, enter, tab, and we're just going to say if, and this is just to be safe, function underscore exists. And the one we're going to test is the underscore custom underscore logo. Good. Then we're going to want to run this bit of code. And we're just going to say the underscore custom logo. Boom and boom. And then we need to close, we need to get back out of PHP mode. Like that. So all we're really saying here is that if there is a function called custom logo, go ahead and run it. You don't want to run it if it doesn't exist, because then it could throw an error and just makes it all weird. So this is just testing to make sure that it does exist. Because if you think about it, if I don't have a logo, I don't want it to put a logo in that doesn't exist. Does that make sense? So this is just saying, did they put a logo in? And it's like, yeah, they did. Go ahead and run it. So then we'll save that and go back into here and refresh it. And boom, there's my beautiful, beautiful logo. It's great. Okay. And so now you can see we have our logo here and we have this here and voila. And there's a lot of other features too that you can play around with. Just if you do a little bit of research, you'll find them. There's ones that will do banners and images and all sorts of different things. But I just want to do kind of like the bare minimum just so it doesn't get like wildly out of control, because then there'll just be a whole bunch of things that we need to do. All right. So in the next one we're going to do is we're going to make our footer. And that will actually be simpler than this. It's actually pretty straightforward.